33rd degree knowledge. Once you master this, reality reveals itself. The phrase "once you master this, reality reveals itself" in the context of 33rd degree knowledge likely refers to enlightenment, self-mastery, or an esoteric understanding of reality that transcends ordinary perception. In Freemasonry, the 33rd degree is the highest honorary degree in the Scottish Rite, often associated with deep philosophical and spiritual insights. While much of its teachings are symbolic and allegorical, key themes include: mastery over self is often considered the highest form of power because it requires deep inner work, discipline, and transformation. Many esoteric traditions, including Freemasonry, Hermeticism, and various spiritual philosophies, teach that true enlightenment comes not from controlling the external world but from mastering one's own mind, emotions, and desires. Principles of self-mastery: control over thoughts and emotions, the ability to remain calm and composed regardless of external circumstances, detachment from impulsive reactions and emotional turbulence, seeing beyond illusions created by fear, desire, and ego, discipline and willpower, developing inner strength through self-discipline, delayed gratification, and focus on long-term spiritual or personal growth, the will to act according to wisdom rather than impulse, transcendence of ego, recognizing that the self, ego, is an illusion that limits perception, letting go of pride, selfish desires, and attachment to identity, achieving a state of humility and service to a higher purpose, awakening to higher truths, realizing that reality is not just material but spiritual in nature, developing intuition and inner guidance to perceive truth beyond logic, understanding that true power comes from alignment with divine will, living with purpose and integrity, acting with wisdom, justice, and compassion, aligning actions with higher moral and ethical principles, becoming a beacon of light and guidance for others. Reality reveals itself, the awakening. Once you master yourself, reality no longer controls you. You see through its illusions. You realize that external power is fleeting, but inner power is eternal. Instead of being ruled by emotions, ego, or desires, you operate from a place of higher wisdom and divine understanding. This is the path of true enlightenment. Esoteric wisdom: unlocking the hidden truths of reality. Esoteric wisdom is knowledge that is hidden from the uninitiated, reserved for those who have disciplined their minds and spirits to perceive deeper truths. It is not about mere intellectual understanding, but about direct experience and transformation. 1. The nature of reality, beyond the material. The physical world is only a reflection of deeper metaphysical structures. Ancient teachings suggest that reality is a projection, like Plato's allegory of the cave or Hindu Maya illusion. When one attains esoteric wisdom, they realize that matter, time, and even identity are not as fixed as they seem. 2. The law of correspondence: as above, so below. This Hermetic principle teaches that the microcosm, self, and macrocosm, universe, reflect each other. By understanding oneself, one understands the universe. It suggests that the same spiritual principles operate at all levels of existence, from atoms to galaxies. 3. Sacred geometry and symbolism. The universe is structured through sacred patterns like the flower of life, the golden ratio, and Fibonacci sequences. These geometric principles are not just mathematical but hold deep spiritual significance, showing the order behind apparent chaos. Symbols like the Eye of Providence, the Ouroboros, and the Philosopher's Stone encode esoteric truths. 4. The hidden power of the mind and consciousness. Reality is shaped by consciousness. Perception defines experience. Advanced initiates learn to focus the mind, unlocking abilities like heightened intuition, manifestation, and even spiritual alchemy. The third eye, pineal gland, is often associated with deeper perception beyond ordinary sight. 5. Alchemy, transformation of the self. While ancient alchemy focused on turning lead into gold, esoteric alchemy is about transforming the soul from base ignorance to divine wisdom. The magnum opus, great work, is the inner journey of purification, enlightenment, and ultimately, transcendence. This process is often broken down into stages: nigredo, blackening, destruction of the old self, albedo, whitening, purification, and rubedo, reddening, the completion of enlightenment. 6. The hidden teachings of ancient texts. Many spiritual and philosophical texts contain layered meanings, with deeper truths revealed only to those prepared to receive them. Examples include the Bible's symbolic messages about inner transformation, the Emerald Tablet's cryptic alchemical instructions, the Kabbalistic Tree of Life as a map of consciousness. Reality reveals itself, the Esoteric Awakening. Once you attain esoteric wisdom, you begin to see reality for what it truly is. Not just a physical plane, but a spiritual, interconnected existence governed by universal laws. You no longer feel bound by limitations, but empowered by the realization that you are both the observer and the creator of your own experience. Divine connection, union with the higher reality. Divine connection is the ultimate realization that we are not separate from the source, God, the universal consciousness, or the infinite intelligence that governs all existence. It is the awareness that beyond the illusions of the material world, there is a higher reality, and we are intrinsically part of it. 1. The illusion of separation. Most people live under the illusion that they are separate from God and the universe. This illusion is reinforced by ego, material distractions, and identification with the physical body. True enlightenment comes when one dissolves this false sense of separation and realizes their unity with the divine. Be still and know that I am God. Psalm 46 verse 10. 2. The journey to divine union. Achieving divine connection is often described as a process of inner transformation. A purification, shedding the false self, letting go of worldly attachments, pride, and selfish desires, overcoming fear, doubt, and limiting beliefs, learning humility, patience, and surrender to divine will. B. Illumination, receiving higher wisdom. Through prayer, meditation, and contemplation, one begins to receive divine insights. Mystics describe this as being filled with light, where truth becomes clear and the soul feels at peace. This stage is marked by deep understanding, wisdom, and love for all creation. See union, becoming one with the divine. In the highest state, the individual merges with the divine, experiencing absolute oneness. This is called unio mystica in Christian mysticism, samadhi in Hinduism, and fana in Sufism. At this stage, the person no longer seeks God as something external, but realizes that God has been within them all along. The kingdom of God is within you. Luke 17 verse 21. 3. The pathways to divine connection. There are different ways to deepen one's connection to the divine. A. Meditation and contemplation. Silencing the mind to hear the voice of the divine within. Focusing on breath, sacred words, mantras, or inner stillness. Allowing divine wisdom to flow without interference from the ego. B. Prayer and devotion. A sincere heart-to-heart conversation with God, not just asking but listening. Practicing gratitude, surrender, and trust in divine guidance. Devotion, bhakti, helps dissolve the ego and establish a deep love for the divine. See service and love. Acting with compassion and selflessness opens the heart to divine energy. Loving others unconditionally reflects the love of the Creator. When one serves with purity of heart, they become a vessel for divine presence. God is love, and he who abides in love abides in God, and God in him. 1 John 4 verse 16. 4. Signs of divine connection. When a person reaches a state of divine connection, they experience white heavy checkmark, a deep sense of inner peace, even amid chaos. White heavy checkmark, a heightened intuition and ability to perceive truth clearly. White heavy checkmark, synchronicities and guidance appearing in life effortlessly. White heavy checkmark, an overwhelming sense of love and compassion for all beings. White heavy checkmark, a detachment from material concerns without losing responsibility. 5. Reality reveals itself. The divine awakening. When you are in true connection with the divine, reality is no longer just what you see with your eyes. It is a living, conscious presence. You begin to see beyond the veil of illusion and understand that everything is interconnected, divine, and purposeful. You do not believe in God anymore. You know God because you experience His presence within you. Moral and ethical excellence. Living in alignment with higher principles. Moral and ethical excellence is the foundation of true spiritual mastery. It is not just about following rules, but about embodying divine virtues, living in a way that reflects wisdom, justice, love, and truth. In many esoteric and spiritual traditions, the highest knowledge is useless unless it is accompanied by righteous action. He who has my commandments and keeps them, it is he who loves me. John 14 verse 21. 1. The universal code of morality. Across cultures and spiritual traditions, certain moral principles remain constant. These include white heavy checkmark truthfulness, living with honesty in thought, word, and action. White heavy checkmark justice, treating others fairly and upholding righteousness. White heavy checkmark compassion, acting with kindness and understanding. White heavy checkmark humility, overcoming pride and ego. White heavy checkmark self-discipline, controlling desires, impulses, and emotions. White heavy checkmark integrity, aligning actions with divine will, even when no one is watching. The wise man does in the beginning what the fool does in the end. Ancient proverb. 2. Mastering the inner battle. True morality is not just about outward behavior. It is about mastering the inner world. The war within. Every person experiences a battle between higher virtues and lower impulses. The role of the ego. The ego seeks power, control, and self-interest. Mastering morality means rising above the ego's temptations, aligning with the higher self. Living morally is not about suppression but transformation, elevating base instincts into higher wisdom. For what does it profit a man to gain the whole world and lose his soul? Mark 8 verse 36. 3. The law of cause and effect, karma. Every action, thought, and intention has consequences. Those who live immorally create suffering for themselves and others. Those who live in virtue create harmony, both in their lives and the universe. Moral excellence leads to inner peace, while immorality leads to spiritual unrest. A man reaps what he sows. Galatians 6 verse 7. 4. The three great virtues in esoteric wisdom. Many esoteric traditions emphasize three key virtues. Wisdom, Sophia, the ability to discern truth from illusion, knowing when to speak and when to remain silent, seeing beyond the surface into the deeper nature of reality. Courage, fortitudo, doing what is right even when it is difficult, facing fear, temptation, and adversity with strength, standing for truth, even when it is unpopular. Love, agape, the highest virtue, embodying divine love for all. Selfless service and kindness toward others, seeing the divine in every being. So now faith, hope, and love abide, these three. But the greatest of these is love. 1 Corinthians 13 verse 13. 5. The path of the righteous, becoming a living example. Moral and ethical excellence is not about mere knowledge. It is about becoming the embodiment of divine principles. A person who has mastered morality. White heavy checkmark radiates inner peace and wisdom. They do not react emotionally, but respond with clarity. White heavy checkmark uplifts others. Their presence brings harmony to those around them. White heavy checkmark is guided by higher wisdom. Their decisions align with divine law, leading to success and fulfillment. White heavy checkmark does what is right. Even when no one is watching, they act with integrity, not for approval, but because it is the way of truth. Let your light so shine before men, that they may see your good works and glorify your Father in heaven. Matthew 5 verse 16. 6. Reality reveals itself. The awakening of moral clarity. When one achieves moral and ethical excellence, they see reality as it truly is. They understand the spiritual laws governing existence and navigate life effortlessly, free from fear, guilt, or confusion. They no longer seek external validation because they are anchored in divine truth. This phrase suggests that once a person attains true mastery over these principles, they perceive reality in a way that transcends ordinary human experience, perhaps seeing the deeper spiritual structures behind material existence.